Intro. Hello, everyone. So, just doing a client. I'm just saying client. That's PT mode. Just doing a student call. Just got a couple of the boys here running through some chart analysis. So, just for a bit more information for you guys, because we've been test piloting a slightly different time slot. So just looking at the 5-minute chart instead of the 1-minute chart. Everything else is still the same. Fundamentally, still looking for the same in terms of piercing of the Bollinger Band, looking for that engulfing candle, retracement, etc. Then looking for that swing, making sure all of our indicators are in line with looking for that interpreted or indicated fall away or rise up, bounce between the Bollinger Bands. So we'll share a little bit here. We do have a couple of little different things as well. Working with the 5-minute is a little bit less anxiety driven, as well as gives you a bit more time to let the move take place and you don't have to rush things. And also this method does seem to be a little bit more suited for the person who trades at night. If you're working your quote unquote 9 to 5 and get the kids to bed and you're not looking to trade until the later evening times, this method is really good. So, both myself and the other Dom, the better Dom, will be running through a few things, and we're showing Ryan here this slightly new method because there's some other stuff which is kind of cool, which don't pop up all the time, but if they do, this is always a really quite a significant signal to act on when they do take place. So I'm just gonna, hopefully it still keeps recording when I make you host, mate, but I have made you host. Sweet. You're right now to share your screen.
All good?
Yep.
All right, mate. Yep. Too easy. All right. So, yeah, as Dom said, this 5-minute really suited my personality. I found I was getting timed out with the 1 minute. Just really couldn't work out whether I was supposed to be doing a minute, 2 minute, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. The idea was always right. It was always going in the direction that I had worked out it was going to go. Yeah, just getting timed out, and so extremely frustrating. So spending a bit more time on it on a different time frame, I found that the 5 till 8 seemed to suit my personality a little bit more. It didn't seem to be quite as choppy. We were going from trending to ranging, and I found that sort of ranging really seemed to start working for me. And then putting a few more indicators on my screen here really helped out. So first thing I did was put another Bollinger Band on and change the deviation to 2.5. So that gave me a little bit of an additional thicker Bollinger Band to sort of break through. And then we had another oscillator on here, the Stochastic, and I changed the settings to 333 and then another one to 733. And the reason for that was I found that the 333 was reacting a little bit quicker than the 733, and I found the 733 was a little bit slower with regards to where it would actually cross and where I wanted with my personality to be able to get my trading. So with the 333, it was crossing at when I wanted it to cross with my personality and when I wanted to trade, and then I was getting confirmation on the 733. And then I've also got the RSI here, and the RSI was just the direction of which way it was going to go. And it was a nice big point down here. So between these three here, we hit this trade here. So we were just chatting away and we saw this one come up, and we all agreed that this would have been a good trade to run in for a good 5 minutes here. And you can see how this one crossed over just a little bit quicker before this one did. So instantly I've looked at that one, seeing that we're going to get a change here. And so obviously these two here, you can't really see on these because the more indicators you put on, the smaller this gets, which is why you always got to run back over to Liberty. But this formation here, candle formation, is called tweezers. And a lot of the times at the top of a trend, tweezer formation, which is a candle the same size as the candle before, but obviously in a bearish color or direction, is going to indicate a possible reversal of movement, of trend, and that's exactly what it did. So we saw the candle form, we saw the stochastics crossover, and not only did they cross over, but we had a nice big split in them here, and again a nice decent split here. The RSI went down, and then boom, that was your trade there. And then just to go into the setup for that, so a bit of back testing for that. So I was talking to Dom a while ago that it was interesting to note that if you saw this sort of formation here where we were going into overbought in a wave of 3, and this came from Evan, one of Evan's videos. If we saw this sort of formation, it doesn't have to be massively overbought, massively back into the normal range and then massively overbought again. As long as we sort of see this range here in a 3 pattern on the third one here, generally, I think we're up to about an 85% probability that we're going to have a sell-off on that third one here. So that's something to look look to when you're looking at your charts, because obviously we're going to get a lot of noise here and a lot of noise here. But if you sort of sit and study and sort of see this forming, this third wave here, a good probability that on that third one here we're going to have a sell here.
Yeah. Do you want actually no, we can say that one for tomorrow. That's good to know. Good to know and sort of see, especially that third wave one. It's something that I've back tested and I've seen it happen. That doesn't happen too often, but when it does, as you said, it's very high probability, which is always really good to have something like that just at the back of your sleeve if you happen to be doing some trading there and it does show up. You know, looking at the charts right now, it's nothing seems to be too overly in the exact position of where we'd like ideally for a trade. You know, just having a flick through them all now. But Ryan, based on obviously where you're at right now, what questions would you have based on, yeah, like I said, from where you're currently sitting at the moment?
No, I think the other Dom has a really good way of explaining it. And I think all these indicators as well definitely helps me figuring out whether I should go in for a trade or not. Me and Dom actually went through some of these indicators before on the 5-minute chart as well, and it made a lot more sense. I'm still, you know, in the midst of learning the candlesticks, because I understand now, like, indicators are just indicators. What really matters is how the candlesticks works. So I'm still there, but you know, the way everything goes through here, it makes perfectly sense.
Yeah. So
Ryan, and like I was saying to Dom before we actually hit record, is that it's not this exact screen, but we can. I don't think I can find it on here, but there was a pin bar, and it was at a. Let's try and use this one here, but you can get the idea. So the pin bar here, and it's hitting the EMA, so that's a line of support here. Generally, that's to be seen as a reversal signal. Now, we did get a little bit of a reversal here, but what happened was it's not this exact screen, but it's interesting because the pin bar formed at the bottom of a downtrend, and the pin bar formed, you know, and you sort of think to yourself, well, that's a reversal of a trend. However, it didn't. We had a continuation of the downtrend here. And what was interesting was the psychology behind that, like I was talking to Dom, is that you can have all of your candles and you can have all of your ideas on how the candles work and how they operate. But at the end of the day, you're not in charge of why that candle failed. And that candle failed because sellers were trying to give their opinion that it should be a sell. And buyers were basically saying, no, we're not interested in that. We're going to outbid you. We're going to outbuy you. And so the powers that be operated the system. And so the reversal didn't happen. And so it was easier for me to understand that I didn't get that wrong. I read that candle, but the institution who are in charge of all of this, basically they flex their power, basically. So I wasn't upset that I hadn't spent, you know, hours and hours into reading all these candles, and then it hadn't worked, and then all of a sudden my strategy doesn't work. And you know what I mean? It's just, it was interesting to sort of see how things above you work and how we're just trying to ride the coattails of that sort of situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that's why, like with this form of trading, so I just to backtrack a little bit. I just did one trade which just came off. NZD CAD. It was one of those ones where all the signals were there and hit sell. So if you want to just load NZD CAD, mate, while you're there.
Yep.
And it was one of those ones where I hit it and it just literally just stayed there and just came on below. So what I might get you to do, mate, just for the sake of this video, just get rid of the awesome oscillator. One, Liberty already has its version of that. So I'll just get you to exit that off just for the video. That way you can make the candles a little bit bigger. Sweet. So
Sure.
we can see just based on when these were both oversold. So just as the cross was taking place. So what I might do is I can annotate this. So when we were in this position here, and what was nice is it lined up with the 7 as well. And I was entering in off that. So basically entering off this candle, we had shit price action afterwards. But I was one of those ones where it just was just a fraction under, and I've placed that one, and that one got off. Also, the RSI was starting to angle down, which is what I liked, but it literally just plateaued and went sideways. And look, sometimes those ones happen. Sometimes you lose those ones. Probably more often than not, when it does go sideways, I tend to lose those ones. So I was very lucky in that situation. But if we now shift over to AUD CHF, we're in a very interesting area. So looking at the 5-minute, we are heading towards, basically, to sort of, for someone who's new, this is what I like to see. So I'm clicking through multiple pairs at once, and I want to see once price gets into this area. So we're piercing the Bollinger Band. So what I mean by that is we obviously are up, we're touching near the top of the Bollinger Bands, right? And we're now starting to approach oversold territories in all of these three, overbought in all these three indicators. The RSI is obviously hugely oversold here. We haven't, if you look just back testing off, or just by looking back on this RSI chart, it's only come up a very, just the right, stay where you are, mate. We'll just move it otherwise. Just a few fractions of time, and hasn't stayed there too long. And as you can see, just off the last few, the highest point of where we were was sitting around about here, which if we're going off the number, that's around about 80 to 85. Looking here, this is a lot higher. So we're at a point where we do need to see a reversal take place. We're extremely oversold. We can see that the last few candles that have printed have left little wicks, right? Which is showing that there is some price rejection. If you just flip to the 15-minute for me, mate. Now, the reason why we do this is just to see, okay, areas of interest at a higher time frame where we're at. Now, what I love about this is the 15, we're already all lined up in very good areas. The crossing starting to take place. Same thing, same situation. I need you to zoom out, mate, as far as you can go for a little bit. Just scroll back, keep going. Right now, here we can see that we're at this previous area of high, right? And we're right at that area. Now we're making a decision. Okay. So we're reacting off that wick. We're going to break creating a higher high, or we're going to react off this particular high, essentially just taking liquidity. So if we just get a candle close just above this, then that therefore capturing that high, taking rid of that, basically getting that high and removing the liquidity left in there, then we should theoretically see a reversal. And what I like in the 15, as I said, we are now approaching that same situation. So when I see this on the 15 and the 5, which for those who have been around for a while, it's the same as I used to look at the 1 and the 5. We're just changing to 5 and 15 because it's just allowing a little bit more time for the move to take place. And the higher the time frame always has the bigger precedence on the move, which is really important. And the reason why we do flick between the two different time frames is you might see on the 5-minute that we're up here at the Bollinger Band, right? Which is, okay, cool. I'm looking at a potential sell here. Fantastic. But then we go to the 15 and it's like down here, nowhere near the Bollinger Band. So that shows that there's still more room to grow. So in reality, on the 5, it's probably going to continue to grind up the Bollinger Band before we get a reaction. Now we can see here again on the 5, like this is good price action. Now I wouldn't just be here sitting on the 1. I'd notice, okay, we're not quite there in my area of interest just yet. So I just bounce through some more. But for the sake of this video and for you guys, for both you two, we'll just sort of sit with this and watch and just see when waiting for that opportunity to strike. Do you want to just add on to that at the moment, Dom?
Yeah, absolutely. This is why I have 2 sets of the Bollinger Bands as well, because, we're going right outside that second pair here, and we're going right outside that second one here, and then we're touching that second one here. So it's just going to start to probably print a doji. It'll probably print something small. Yeah, it's just starting to print something small here. So this,
We've seen the crossover here now.
Crossover here. and we've had the crossover here, and the RSI started to go down here. Now, this personally, this is where I would like to enter, like right now. I would get in for it. I'm going to get in for.
Yeah, I've also entered the trade too.
So I've entered in now as a sell.
Yeah.
So we've had a confirmation here. We've had this one come here a little bit later than this one. So this one's really on the money here. And this one's just giving us a little crossover on here. The RSA is starting to point down.
And have you gone in on a 5 or a 4 minute, mate? Or how many, what's your time? Oh, you just
other than 2 minutes. So what makes you decide if you want to go 5 or say 2 minutes or whatever that was?
Yeah, I should have actually gone 5. I was too busy talking away, mate. I've done
that many times,
on that,
mate. I've done that many times before, and you did a $500 trade. Just be aware of that.
Yeah,
That's all right. So that's what we learned. That's what, mate. Now you know my feeling. I kept making mistakes when I run these calls on a Thursday. I think you'll still be right, mate. Honestly,
I think it's going to come in. Yeah.
So I've entered for a 4 minute. Now the reason as to why, Ryan, to answer your question is purely on the basis of one, definitely the fact that both Dom and myself have done a shitload of demo trades, right? So you begin to start to understand that certain time and certain, like just watching, because it's repetition, learning to train your eye, you will see how markets move. And you will start to learn, okay, is it moving fast? Is it moving slow? What's the previous candles? Are they full candles? Are they little pissy candles? We've had some big candle movements in the last time frame, in the last few. And obviously AUDCHF is not a major, it's an exotic, so it's a smaller one. So, you know, generally it's want to see it move, it will move a little bit slower, but just, I guess it comes to like, there's no right or wrong. It's also about how you interpret, how you react to the market. Are you quick to react? And you're going to make straight away. So therefore you probably don't need to have, you can have a little bit more time. But for me, just what I've found is through test piloting and based on my decision and how I react to the market, a 4 minute is best from this particular method. And also what you'll find is because we're looking at the 5 minute candle. So what you tend to see, because the way candles work, they work like steps, right? So you'll sort of move up and then you come in, move up, and then you come in, move up, and you come in. So essentially you can have a big move. And what will happen is by the close of the 5 minute, sometimes you'll get a retracement back to the opening of the candle previously before it continues its own move, because it has to, basically that's called mitigation. So when we get a movement from the opening of the previous candle, it needs to return to close those orders, fill in balance, and then continue to go when we have consistent price action. So what I was finding is by doing a 5 minute trade on the 5 minute or a 1 minute trade on the 1 minute, or just basically matching your trade time to that, I was finding I was getting either just stopped out or break even quite often because it would return back to my entry point. So by just slightly reducing the time of whatever candle time the frame I'm looking at, I found that I was clearing trades a lot more. Now, you would have smashed this Dom trade, eh? I haven't
did, mate, yeah.
2 minutes was awesome.
Yeah.
I've got 30 seconds left, and that's good. That's a nice little part. Now, just for those who are aware, because obviously Dom's just gone live. Is that your first live trade, mate?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
That's money in the bank, baby. Let's go.
That's it, mate.
Now, just hang on. I think I need to get my phone out for this because this is awesome. That's a monumental moment, mate. Now,
thanks, bro.
You've literally just made $950, so basically $1,000 because it's USD, so it's a bit over $1,200.
Yeah.
In 2 minutes. Now that's most people's weekly wage. What the fuck are we doing?
All the while chatting away.
Chatting away. You made a fucking mistake, and you still made just the lazy $1,000, mate, just over. So
yeah, mate.
If you can't see the power of what is here, especially if you guys are watching this like as a replay, like seriously, and if you're someone who's been around for a while, and it's not having a go at you. It is a little bit having a go at you, Ryan, but I love you. It's a little bit tough love. What the fuck are we doing? Because this is so powerful, guys. You understand that when you get to this, right? I never want you to overtrade ever. And I speak to this, you guys know this. Ideally, if you can just do between 1 to 5 trades, just like what we've done now, where you just look for your setups, look for your structures, talk your way through it, be very disciplined, controlled, do not rush the process, do your 3 to 5 trades, Obviously, that's a little bit more. Some people don't have $500 to risk up for a first trade, but that shows you from 5 trades, we continue. Now, what I would say is we're going to compound. What I'd teach Dom now is, okay, you've just done 500, no worries. So now we're going to slightly increase that. So we're going to go to 550, right? Or whatever it is that's comfortable for that person, but we do need to increase. If we keep trading at the same money value, we're not going to actually compound our growth. So therefore, we're going to have to continue to do more and more trades. So the next one might be a $600 trade. We profit that, bang, we get in again for another win. Awesome. We do another one, bang, say we increase to 700. That's another win. You're going to get $4 to $5 grand from 5 trades within an hour. Let's be like, so we just don't, because we don't want to rush it. Fuck, $5 grand. Yeah, no worries. That's like a $200,000 a year from a couple of days worth of work. And I never want to overtrade. I like to have just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is my trading days. Get my 3 to 6 to 7 grand, pocket it, done. Therefore, I can actually live my life and do things that I want to do, because I'm very big on it. And I know I'm going to be teaching these boys that is, I do not want you to be sitting at the computer and trading and looking at a screen for 6 to 8 hours. That's not what we're going to facilitate. Both these two boys have massive dreams and goals and aspirations to do different shit, right? So how do we do that? Let's just get a simple income stream, revenue coming through a different source that doesn't require too much time. This shit should be taught in schools, not trigonometry, and therefore facilitate what it is that you want to do. Use that capital to put elsewhere and then actually get the fucking lifestyle that you want. So, man, I'm super stoked about that, bro, that we've just like cleared that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And how much hesitation? You told me last week, I think I need another cup. I need another month. I need to learn this. I need to do this. Is why I slightly pushed you, bro, because you proved enough that it was there, right? So now you just made $1 grand. You've covered the cost of all your trading. Basically, if you were to withdraw, you've just covered the cost of your subscription fees that you've been paying for the last 2 months. But now we are officially in profit. Done. Sweet.
Absolutely.
2 or 3 more, mate. Now we're making fucking real cash. We're not paying anymore. This is super exciting.
Oh man, it's amazing. And you know what the best thing is that the psychology now behind it, because I've done so many demo trades, is I haven't tried to hit sell again and try to capitalize on that movement, because I've sat and watched that RSI while you've been chatting, and look at where that RSI has gone. Yeah. So that's just pointing back up north again. So this is not going to hit anywhere near where we possibly, if you had, I mean, I've got an addictive personality. And so I absolutely, if I have had to learn this craft inside out and smash all those demo trades and lose those demo trades here and understand why I've lost those demo trades, it's because I've had a win here and then I want another win here and then I want another win here without paying attention to what's going on here. And so now it's all about capital preservation. We've had that win. We'll go and find another pair. We'll go and find another good setup, which we know has got a high probability. We won't just try and chase this one now.
Yeah, exactly. And you can sort of see now, based on this is why, if you have that little bit of hesitation in making a decision, this is why you really need to be consistent on your method. And once you choose your method, you need to stick to it once you find consistency there. Because if we are delayed, and this is also why I like just doing the 5 minute, because the opportunity to make a decision is a lot more rushed on the 1 minute. So this is a little bit more controlled. But as you can see, we're probably going to have a little bit of a reversal take place now. Is this the same one we just traded on? Yeah, it is.
Yep, haven't moved yet. Yep.
So if you'd gotten in now, for example, or throughout that candle because you were too late to react, we pretty much saw the lines taking place. They were starting to fall. We got in straight away. So therefore we capitalized on the entire move, as opposed to, okay, it's just dropped a little bit. Now we get in. And then now, more than likely, we're going to see a reversal come back up and we're not going to get that move. Like it may just continue to go. That's fine. But we're just reducing the risk element by making sure that we back ourselves in once you've spent that time, though, doing the groundwork through the demo trading, right? So I just want to do a quick story, though. I just want to do this because it's just sick, and I'll tag you both in it. Okay. I was just looking at as well, just why we're doing this. Just flick to Euro USD. We've missed it because we were both busy talking. But Euro USD, you can sort of see that the movement's already gone. But that initial, because again, we're dealing with the 5 minutes. It's a crap candle, that doji candle that's been printed afterwards. But if we essentially on that initial this is a bit more of your 101 textbook styled stuff was coming in. I'm going to annotate the screen so the guys know at your end. But we can see here that we had obviously not quite a full touch of the Bollinger Band, because you got the two settings. So on mine, that first one is my setting where I've got it at. We had the engulfing candle. So this is the big move, big engulfing candle. So essentially that yellow candle is bigger than the blue candle prior. We were at that time, we were starting to angle back in. We had the crossover, as you can see on both the lines. The RSI was starting to angle up, not superly oversold, but enough. And then we had that retracement, because I was watching this. I didn't trade it because as I was talking, we had that pullback. It was a very deep retracement. So, you know, you would have had no problem. So essentially, as this retracement came in here, I'm placing a buy in this. And then what happened is it then came up, right? And then it closed and came back down to here. So even though it was a very crap candle printed next, if you'd placed your buy, and even still now you placed your buy, you're going to clear this trade no problem. You don't often see this. This is a little bit annoying. And if this is sometimes, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But now you can see the movements taking place. We're going off. And even in reality, if you were a little bit hesitant to get in on the initial, you can get in now. Well, not now, but 30 seconds ago before I started talking about it. And you would have had no problem clearing that one as well. So
that's a really good one to understand, that doji candle, that they do print, because there's a lot of noise here on this 5 minute. You know, if you go to on the 1 day, you don't get a lot more noise. And when you get down to, and that's why I didn't like the 1 minute, it was just too noisy, too many candles printing. But with this doji here, if you understand it, if you see the doji here at the bottom of the trend, then that really is going to show the reversal. But if you see it here in the middle of nowhere, well, we've got equal buyers and equal sellers, indecision. You know, are we gonna just go sideways here? So we're trending here. We're just starting a range here. So this one tells me here with the doji that we've got equal sellers, equal buyers. I think we're going to head into a bit of a ranging session here, which is then, of course, we're going to be looking at, you know, the supply and demand zones here. So this here, not at the bottom of the trend, is really important to understand that they will print. And that it's sort of it's more of a continuation than a reversal.
Yeah, correct. I'm just going to jump back into this story what I can. All right, just on a Zoom with a couple of the boys. Namesake, Dummy boy. That's what my mum used to call me. Hang on, I need to start it again. All right, I can't call you that. I'm just on the Zoom here with a couple of the lads, Dom and Ryan, just going through pocket options trading. Super fucking excited. So Dom just went live with his account and did his very, very first trade, which we were actually just going through together. And he profited $950. That's USD. So that's, you know, just shy of 1,200 Aussie bucks, which we did in a 2-minute trade. And mate, how do you feel after your very first trade, profiting basically just over $1,000?
Yeah, mate. It's confirmation that all the hours that I've put into this demo trading has really paid off. Sitting and watching all the videos, Evan's videos on Liberty, sitting and doing your demo tradings, reading the candlestick Bible, paying attention to what the candlesticks are printing. And then, yeah, it's paid off, mate.
And he had a lot of hesitation, internal hesitation. I said, mate, you need to pull the trigger on this because you've got all of it now. Like, let's go. And he's reaping the rewards. Super excited, brother.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sick. So sick, man. I'm happy as for you, bro.
Thanks, bro.
We got it now. Now, you know, there's going to be obviously some times where they don't always pay off like this, and you're going to have your days. And that's probably one thing, you know, I need to learn as well. It's why I've just reduced my trading days to only those 3 days, because I will overtrade otherwise. And Monday and Fridays are just shit. They don't tend to do the normal, what that we normally look for. So just on EuroCAD, how would you interpret this situation, mate? EuroCAD, looking at what we can see. So you obviously had the pierce of the Bollinger Band. We have all our indicators there. We've had the wick up, but now obviously reducing back now. I think this is a potential, basically what we're looking at Euro USD. It's just playing a little bit lower behind. You
want me on EuroCAD?
Yeah, EuroCAD, mate. How do you see this?
Yeah. All right. So look, that gravestone candle here hasn't really come off any sort of resistance level here or any support level. So I really wouldn't be playing anything to do with that. We've had just a little bite here through the Bollinger Band, a little teeny tiny bit, and then this one has played. If this one had played sort of here, then I would have thought that that's a rejection off this support level and then a reversal. But I think this one here is just going to show us we've tried to come up, and we're using the EMA here as the resistance now. So it's tried to come up and it's rejected off. So yeah, I think we're just going to have a bit of a sell here.
Correct. And now here's the biggest thing. This is why we flick between. On why we do that, mate. Can you flick to the 15-minute on this same one?
Yeah, and we just see where we're at on the 15.
This is how we avoid getting caught out. This is exactly why between the time frames. Look where we are. We're nowhere near the time of the Bollinger Band. Can we see when we did the other one, when we did ABCHF, both the 5 and the 15 were in the same spots. We got the same reading. This shows it still needs to fall. So that's why we can't rush while we bounce between the time frames. So really take note of that, guys, especially if you're watching the replay. But yeah, let's see if we can, well, not see, well, no, we will. Let's get another couple of trades. Okay, AUDCHF on the 15 is in a very good position. Where we are on the 5, though, we just traded AUDCHF, didn't we? Yeah, we did. So that already ran. Interesting that it's still now just sitting at that area. Because at the 15, it's still in a prime spot, but that's the one we just traded. So I was probably
we've come off that last high, which was all the way back here.
Yeah.
So it is back there, but yeah, we've come off that last high.
Yeah, so I don't want to over trade that one. I'm happy, and that's probably one thing as well, guys. If you don't try to double tap on a pair, once you've done one trade, awesome, leave it. Have that discipline to come back to it at another point when it's at its other area of the Bollinger Band. Just move.
I have a question regarding that. If you guys are so sure on a trade, right? All the confirmations are there. What makes you double trade or makes you not double trade if you are so sure that it's going to go through?
Well, honestly, just from a shitload of demo trades and just knowing that every time I went in that second time, well, not every time, but let's say above 80% of the time, I always got the second time wrong and just biting off more than you can chew. Because you don't know whether, like, for example, if you get those confirmations that we want, it might not have mitigated out of. So essentially, you might have just had a huge fall away and you've profited on that because your initial trade got on. Awesome. Then you look to go in again, but it hasn't retraced back up. So you've got that little bit of imbalance above. So then get in for another sell and then it does its retracement afterwards, or it just does some bullshit sideways movement, which is why I just learned to not do that from, honestly, personal experience. Would you agree, Dom?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've just been, I've lost so many demo trades just trying to double tap and trying to win off that situation. Absolutely. That'd take me a fair while to understand. Now, just looking at NZ CAD, we're just finding a little bit of a level here. So this is our last high before the low, before going back up again. So we've got this support level here. And so we're just sort of bouncing off this support level here. We have
looking at
another bounce off.
Very
NZ CAD on the 5.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the 15. That's why NZD CAD. 15.
And then we've had while we were talking, so we've had a crossover here, crossover here, crossover here. You could probably still get in this one. Probably still get in for a minute on this one. It's just starting to. I like it when this RSI just goes above this medium line. When it sort of sits around here and doesn't do anything, it can make you a bit indecisive. When it shoots way above it, then that one there, even though this is being indecisive here, if that one's still pointing up, even though we're still being a little indecisive here, then that's, after doing a few demo trades, that's not been a bad idea to hit a buy on that one. A short buy, definitely. Probably a minute on that one.
So looking at GBPCHF, so the British pound, we can see a huge rejectional wick forming. Had some very crappy price action for like the last hour, and like really crap small candles printed, and now we've had a huge move. Obviously, that's been a push because we're about to hit the o'clock. We're about to hit the hourly close. And looking at the 15 as well. Sorry, I realized my internet's a bit crappy. there's your, like, I probably want to get now, to be honest. It's not quite there on the 15. It's pretty close.
15's already started to print down, mate.
Yeah, it has already started to print down as well. We took that high, so you can see that last big up candle that's come through on the 15's taking those previous highs. And that literally, that's what you'll find will happen. So the reason why we had the huge movement to finish the hour was to take that high, to come and close above that level.
Are you going to take this trade, Dom?
Well, I just wanted to, it's kind of just moved. Now, as you can see now, I just want to see, it's pretty close. And because I've had a lot of shit price action afterwards, I'm going to increase this to a 5-minute trade. Because the 15 still got some room. It hasn't quite got there. So I actually might even increase this to a 6-minute. This is for me personally. As you can see now, we're getting that so on the 15, it's forming a little bit smaller. We've seen the big pullback on the 5. You see what I mean? This is why I wouldn't have rushed into it, just because on the 15 it was wanting a little bit more time. And now you can see there's more movement coming up now. And we haven't had that on the 5, the crossover yet on the indicators, and the RSI is still pointing up. So I don't like it yet, but it's close. But I do want to allow a bit more time for this.
And that's why I like the 2 Bollinger Bands as well, when it really pokes up right through that second one as well. That's
good. So what's the settings
for me?
Sorry to cut you off. What's the settings for that second Bollinger Band, mate?
So we got 2 and then 2.5 on that one, mate. So 20 and 2.
Yep, and then 2.5 is the second one.
And then 20 and 2.5 gives you that little extra one, yeah.
That's the deviation 2.5, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And so cool. Yeah, I like this. I like this. But oh yeah, I'm watching this. I'll be right back. I need to keep talking about through and you go to the toilet.
How are you finding this, Ryan?
Yeah, good. I'm just gonna add the second Bollinger Band.
Yeah, man.
So it was 2 and then 2.5, yeah?
Yeah, so the first one's periods 20 and deviations 2.
Yeah.
And then the second one is period 20, deviation 2.5.
20.
And see how it gives you 2 now. So we've got 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top.
Yeah.
And I was finding that with one of them, see how it's sort of hitting one here and hitting one here. And you think to yourself, well, that's through the band. Well, it is through the band, but it's not way through the band. If you add that second one with this one, like it's through that one at 2 and then through that one at 2.5. So that's a really good confirmation, that one. Again, with the crossover here, and the RSI heading down. So and because it stands out, it really does stand out that it's shot through those 2. You know what I mean? Then it really is overbought.
But so looking at these trades that you've been looking at, from what I can see, you've only been using pocket options, or have you been using Liberty as well?
No. While we've been talking, we've just been using pocket option. Yeah. Okay. But I will use Liberty as well. And then with Liberty.
So what does Liberty do for you that pocket option doesn't do for you? Because it seems like you still are able to pull off trades without going through the Liberty.
No, so generally I'll have Liberty on the monitor, and it'll just print the candles a little bit quicker than pocket option will.
Okay.
Probably on a 5-minute time frame, you're probably looking at about 5 to 10 seconds before pocket options prints, and that last little bit can really be the game changer. If it prints here, and we've had the crossover here. So I put another stochastic down here as well. So I just go to indicators and type in STO and put a stochastic RSI in, which is not normally on your simple scalper, number 2. I find that the Liberty will, it'll just print the candles. And of course, printing candles is everything. How that candle prints is absolutely the first indicator that you want to be looking at. So if I'm not chatting away and we're doing this, then Liberty first, watching how that prints, and then coming over to pocket option. And by the time you've come over, you can be on the same 5, but by the time you switch over, I'll go to the 15 and it'll give me time to just quickly see what the 15's doing. And I'll go, okay, yeah, 15's heading up. And then I can go back to the 5. And by the time I've dicked around doing that, then it's just started to print what Liberty had already told me was going to do.
Okay.
Just gives me a bit of extra time just to sort of sit back here, see what the RSI is doing. Liberty, absolutely, mate, for sure, 100%, just because it's that little bit quicker.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, heaps more accurate. The indicators as well are not as lagging as much as pocket options, as well as what's going to be happening as well in the future. You're going to be able to, coming in the new year, you're going to be able to actually trade on that, like Liberty, not the Liberty itself as that platform, but that what you're looking at, that screen on Liberty, you'll be actually able to place trades on there as well. So there's some big updates to that moving forward. But I essentially, a bit like what Dom said, I'm obviously not on it now because you've got the account. So having the 5, so I don't have to flick between 2. I'll have on another screen, I'll have like Liberty predominantly on 15 and then looking at this at the 5. Or if I'm doing my 1-minute trades, I'll have pocket options on the 1 and Liberty on the 5. So then I can have that instant look and not have to flick the screen constantly. So a lot of usabilities for that as well, heaps easier. So I'm also
GBP CHF, I think, is coming up for a sell, my friend, I believe.
Just stuck with, just because I'm being stubborn, I'm just stuck with GBP CHF still. It's pretty much at that point. Like, come on, make a decision, please. The poll, like, it's smashed through the 15-minute second Bollinger Band, like hugely smashed through.
What time is it? So it's. Yeah, so it's on that. It's on, like I was telling Ryan, the hours and the half hours are very important just to be watching for a reversal or a continuation.
Exactly.
But definitely watching, keeping an eye on the time. So we're just coming up now. So we've run that 10 o'clock, and just on that 10, we've seen the crossover here and the crossover here, and we're just waiting to see what this sort of candle does, really. GBP CHF, let's see what it's looking like.
Starting to fall away on the 5 now. Crossovers starting to take place, and you can see this. This is why it's really fascinating, because while we flick between the different time frames, when I initially first called this out on the 15, we hadn't quite gotten to oversold and overbought. We were a little bit down, and it's still not quite there yet either. It's got a little bit more room to grow. It's getting very close. So that's why on the 5, it continued to just rise up the Bollinger Bands and just create more upward momentum, albeit very minimal, just to allow the other timeframes to catch up. I can sort of see that we're.
You see how we did the blue candles have run out of steam, and we've printed a grey one here, Ryan? Mm-hmm. So that's telling us, absolutely, it's been confirmed by this bullish candle here.
Yeah, so I like this for a setup for sure. So I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. It's pretty close though.
So is that what we do? Is that we have all the different currencies that we want to trade that gives the most profit, and just kind of like scroll through each of them to see where there's an opportunity, and then just wait and be patient and study it before making a trade?
I like to compare the pairs, mate. I really like to see GBP CHF versus AUD CHF. I like to see CAD JPY versus CAD AUD, and just see if JPY is going down on one pair, should be going up on the other pair, or if it's going down on one pair and going down on the other, on the second pair, because it's the secondary pair. Well, then there's another trade right there, isn't there? Same idea, Dom?
Yeah, mate, 100%. Now, just to sort of analyze this, when you talk about the timing and stuff and whatnot, like how do you know when to go at the different times? So just by sitting here and watching it, which is why I sometimes, of course, it just dropped to 65%, you bugger, you little bastard. At my end, it just dropped in rewards, and now it's presenting its opportunity. I'm
going to go in for a sell there, mate.
Yeah, look, it's just just dropped to 65. It's the only thing. I have a rule. I don't trade if it's under.
80.
Yeah, I just don't trade if it's under 80, no matter what, even if it's a good setup.
What did it just drop to? I
Yes, I
didn't
mean,
check.
that's what
You
I
just
said.
said it.
It just dropped to 65. It's not.
Ah,
It's so annoying because we just sat here for that, watching it the whole time, and
yeah,
unfortunately that happens.
I told you that, didn't I, Ryan?
Yeah.
Everyone's-
That's right.
Yeah.
And what's a little bit annoying, and look, it is what it is. The rewards are really, really good. But if you do enter a trade and it's active, if the price does change, it does state what that price is when it closes, not when you entered. So you can enter a trade expecting, X amount of returns, and then it being less if it changes
Yeah.
during the move.
Also, it can change during the actual trade that you already pull up.
Yep. That hasn't happened to me often, but it can happen.
So what was it before you entered the trade? It was above 80, wasn't it?
It's 82.
And it just went down to 67 just like that.
Yeah.
And this is another reason why I like this 4 or 5 minute time frame, because you can put your trade in instead of sitting here with your heart pounding. Go and get a drink, go to the toilet, go and do something, and come back.
Because you can't do anything about it anyway.
You can't. So there's no point in sitting there watching it going red, green, red, green, red, green. You know what I mean? It's just, what's the point? Because on that 1 minute, you're sitting there and your heart's got in your mouth. Am I going to win it? Am I going to not? You've got 3-4 minutes now. Go and do something. Go and look at another screen, or just completely walk away from your screen. I found walking away from your screen really sort of helps you sort of neutralize yourself. Emotion. If you come back and you lose it, you lost it. You don't sit there and you're waiting for a countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then all of a sudden you lose it, and then you get angry and upset. If you come back and you lost it, you analyze why you lost it. You don't sit there and have it in your face telling you, you're a loser. You know what I mean? Makes sense?
So how do you analyze your loss?
So I'll screenshot it and I'll go back about an hour later. And I'll look at it and I will see basically if the setup was right, but the time was wrong, then it's just a case of adjusting the time. And why was the time wrong, basically? Were you too short? Were you too long? Depending on the time frame that you're working on. Again, it's just finding that adjustment. So 4 or 5 minutes for a 5 minute time frame is about right.
You just done a trade, another one, yeah? At 10 minute? Oh wait, no, that was your last one. Sorry, never mind. Time thing.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just close out and lose this one, mate. As that comes down.
Stiff, that one. So yeah.
Could have gone a bit. See, again, I could have gone a bit longer on that one, but it wouldn't actually let me. Oh, no, here we are.
Oh,
That's green, red, green, red. Don't sit and watch it.
I see
Go
what you
away.
mean by just like walking away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That happens with that one. And also, so
Yeah.
with that one, because I'd watched it for a little bit, this is why I said personally that 6 minute mark, just watching the way the candles had printed the prior lead up, it was very slow. And also we saw those previous candles that happened before, even just looking now, you can see how small they are. And then we had the huge move, which was just the manipulative institutional move to close out the hour as it did. And then now it's just gone slow again. So for me, I'm looking for adding that little bit more time, plus knowing on the 15, we still had we hadn't quite got there, which is why for me, I hadn't entered. Plus obviously the price had changed, and I'm looking at that 6 minute mark just to allow more time to move. So, if we sat here for like another 2 minutes, so let's just say it's, 20 seconds further, this is a very good chance that that's actually going to be below that entry point. Because as you can see now, just even on these indicators, now they're only just starting to angle down, or they're flat a bit. So things to learn, but that's obviously what we're here to talk about and discuss. On the recording because it's just going to chew up too much time. We can do a little bit more on here. Try to get one more trade in. Just going to stop this.